get money from the government to clean up the lake, but we're awful slow because there's a guy standing right over there, Donnelly Broom, that told all of you this 3 or 4 years ago, and you passed him off as some nutcase, and he's the only one that had it all right. And it's very similar to what you just wrote, Mr. Deere. Have you ever spoke to him?
Yes, I have.
This is not rocket science or new information here. This has been batted around for years like a council meeting that can't pass something that has to be passed. I like what you're saying. I think it's great. We need a lot of money to fix it, and we need to get it from the people who broke it. And that's what we all have to remember.
When I talked to the people at Lake Simcoe, the Conservation Authority there, they told me that nothing really happened with Lake Simcoe until they got the federal government involved. And I think that's what we need to do here. You need to get the federal government involved.
No, I'm going ahead to Charlene next.
I guess a couple of questions is, are you able to work together for the common good, or are you looking to have a separate recommendation come from you and the watershed, or are you going to be able to sit on there?
I've attended all Brian's meetings. So
okay.
Don's not officially a member of the Watershed Council, but I don't think he's missed a single Science Committee meeting.
Very good. And I guess the other question I have is, do you know the status of the application for nonprofit so that we can get those grants applied for and get moving on money coming in now that we have some reports coming back? And we've had the reports, but now you have the 2014 report that you'll be able to apply for certain grants that are or may be available.
Well, I think the report will help us zero in on our topic areas, but just for your first question about we are a registered nonprofit now.
Now? Okay, perfect.
We're seeking to get a charity status.
Oh, okay.
And that's pending. I can't actually give you the exact status of that right at the moment, but.
So that's what's holding up the application processes?
Oh no, not necessarily. No.
Not our application process, but maybe the fact of whether or not we would be satisfied to some of those grant applications. So they look at us.
We can continue to submit, applications for funding.
Right.
But the charitable status would actually expand the. There's
absolutely.
There's banks and institutions and private sector money out there too that would prefer to donate to a charitable organization with a track record.
Yes.
Right. So because they would benefit from the receipt.
Right.
But there are other funding opportunities that we could apply for.
I know that the Muskrat Watershed Council wants to be a separate entity from the Council of Whitewater Region, but I know that there are also areas where there is a separate nonprofit organization, and the funding application actually comes from somebody that has track record, which is a municipality, which forms a number of municipalities that are involved, including Admaster and Bromley, so that, and Laurentian Valley and all of the ones that you've included in your watershed. Is it beneficial to have Whitewater Region be the head of the, to be the signing authority for those applications to be able to get that charitable status?
Well, I think if you've seen our concept, of how we're modeled, we're willing to partner with all different groups, and if we can partner with a group that has charitable status and we can partner with them on an application, then I think we could certainly explore that, and I could take that back to the Watershed Council. Whether or not we would want to rely on that, as an interim measure or a permanent solution, that's something the Watershed Council would have to consider.
Yeah, I would recommend either or, temporary or not.
The message is it a suggestion that I can take back to the Watershed Council for discussion and give them back to Council with a recommendation or a request? Okay.
I think so, because.
Or is it an offer?
Well, in my opinion, it's an offer and a suggestion. I know staff, it's that you would, your your volunteers would hopefully do the application process, because it's in, you are the ones that know it the best.
Right.
And that you would use the township as the signing authority to be able to apply. I mean, I know in other municipalities they do that all the time, and grants are received.
Yeah.
So certainly, use and abuse Whitewater Region to
Well, certainly
our advantage.
That's our model, because,
Okay,
the money we get for for monitoring actually goes to the college, or it goes to other, it doesn't go to us necessarily, right? It goes to wherever it's needed.
I'm going to move on here. Mayor Johnson?
I'm quite impressed with the fact that this year we did something. We started the pilot project. You put it in place on the little river, and I took the pictures that were forwarded to us and to the paper and so on and so forth to our federal member, and she was very impressed. She's very concerned, and I'm pretty sure that with these pictures, she felt that if she can show some of the right people in the federal entity these pictures, she might be able to drum some interest in that area. But just the fact that we tried something, and I believe it's working, it's a step in the right direction, and it should prove to the people that you're asking for funding or forwarding your applications to, that there has been steps taken, that you're not just flaunting around or a turtle on their back. And so I commend everybody for all the work that they've done. I think it's great. Mr. Broom has spent a lot of his time, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised that if you could aim him at the right section as a lobbyist, we'd have something that could help us. Thanks.
Chris, go ahead.
15 seconds, I promise.
Okay,
So,
that's what you got.
okay, start counting. I think we're heading in the right direction. I think don't underestimate the last comment you made about lobbying. So anybody that understands money understands that the government gives out money usually for two purposes. One is votes, and the second one is who's making the most noise. So I think you're getting organized, but you really need to ramp up the lobby side of things, and you need to make a whole lot of noise. So whether that means, and we appreciate that it's going in the Whitewater News and that kind of thing, but you need CBC here too. You almost need to embarrass people to make a lot of noise. And we're not. This council isn't going to fix this. Renfrew County's not going to fix this. It's you're talking tens of millions of dollars in funding that's going to be needed to fix this thing. So while we appreciate the efforts and I really think that everybody has the best interests at heart. It's really a pebble in a great big beach that I think we really need to make a whole lot more noise than you guys are making.
Thank you. We're 16 seconds. Anyway, any other comments from council? Anywhere? If not, yes, Mr. Dare.
Just had one comment to make. A precedent has been set in Quebec on a lake called Lac Supérieur, which is about, a few miles north of Montreal. Anyway, I got an article from a friend of mine whose Lac Supérieur is a lake that's, I guess, got a lot of algae on it. One of the homeowners there, I don't know whether he went to court or he just went to the equivalent of MPAC in Quebec, but he actually got his taxes reduced because of the algae that was in the lake.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I have a motion here, moved by Dave Mackay, second by Kathy Rager. Be it resolved that the council in committee of the Township of Whitewater Region adjourn the meeting of July the 22nd, 2015 at 8:55. 54. All in favor? Motion carried.